Okay, everyone, welcome to our team training call. My name's Bernadette Trafton. I know that you guys know me, but I want to introduce Annie Tralanek. She's my co-hostess. Annie, say hi to everybody.
Hi to everybody.
Tonight we're going to talk about the 8 deadly pitfalls of network marketing. Annie and I were talking about some different things that have been going on in the organization, and she said, oh my goodness, this would be a great training for us to do. So we decided to do this training tonight. So welcome everyone, and we're going to talk about our first, I went too fast. All right, here we go. Number 1 pitfall in network marketing is not getting started. Now, really the key is that some people have an initial fear of making phone calls. You know, the phone gets really heavy looking. It's too big for you to actually pick up. And the key is if this is you, be honest with us. Ask for help. We can make phone calls with you. We can do things like we can do the predictive dialer calling that I've been doing with some folks. It will get you through some of the fears because mainly you're not picking up the phone. You're also going through a script with people that you don't know at all so that you can become better when you're actually making phone calls to people that you do know. Know that you're not alone. Most people have this fear. They just don't admit it. Even now, sometimes I still kind of have this fear because it's people we know and they know us and stuff like that. Just know that it's normal. And we're providing training materials to overcome this tendency so that you can learn how to invite and introduce people. And most importantly, you got to get started. The fear diminishes after this really uncomfortable the first time you make a phone call. And, you know, the second time it gets a little bit easier. The third time it gets a little bit easier. And as time goes on, it gets easier and easier and easier. So, Annie, what do you have to say about this?
I think you said it perfectly. It's as time goes on, it's going to get easier. But the biggest thing is, you know, for those of you who are having trouble getting started, just do something. Anything is better than nothing, and just do something to get yourself started, because some people will sit around and say, you know, oh, I have to do this, and I'm going to start my business next week, or I'm going to start over the weekend, and then those days never come. So just do something to get yourself started, and that's one of the very first steps that you can avoid, is not getting started.
Now, one of the things that I found is that people say, oh, they set a time where they're going to make phone calls, and then they say, oh, now's probably not a good time to call. It's before dinner. They're probably getting ready for dinner. It's after dinner. They're probably sitting with their families. So they come up with those kind of excuses. Take those excuses and throw them out of the window. When you set your time to make phone calls, make phone calls. And, you know, it's what Steve Schultz used to always say, Annie, you know, the first time you may go pick up the phone and you may start to dial it and you get halfway through and you're like, oh, well, at least I picked up the phone that time. Celebrate the successes that you have, even if it's okay, I started to make a phone call. And for some of you who have been making phone calls, this might sound a little bit silly, but know that other people who are out there, they do have they do have that kind of issue of making a phone call. So, Annie,
Hey,
go ahead.
I remember when I used to make phone calls and pray that they wouldn't answer. I mean, I would actually call, and this was a long time ago, but I did it. I would actually call at times that I knew they,
Right.
just so I could say, I made all my calls, but nobody was home. I didn't get any answers. So, guys, if you're trying that one, just to remind you, we've heard it all or we've done it all. So,
Right.
keep that in mind.
Exactly.
The next one, I like this one. It's reinventing the wheel. There are so many people who, no matter what you say or do, they always can do it better, or they have a better idea, or they have a better way, or their approach is better. And just realize, if it's not part of the current system, there's probably a reason for it. And I'm not saying that, you know, I want to discourage anybody with new ideas. We're always open to new ideas. But learn the ideas that are tried and true. And then if you have some things that you think will work, don't just go out and do them. Talk to somebody, you know. Talk to Bernadette. Talk to me. Say, hey, I was thinking of trying this. What do you think? And I might say, you know what? I tried that before and it did not work. Or I might say, you know what? Nobody's ever done that. Let's give it a try and see what happens. And that's all. But keep in mind that there is a system in place, and the reason the system's there is because it works. They put a system in place so that you'd have something simple to follow because the system works. So keep that in mind, and if you do have new ideas, just run it by somebody. Don't just try it out. Bernadette?
I would agree with that, and you know, before you go trying new things, use the systems that we have. I mean, we have a three-way call system. Invite people to look, introduce them to an expert to answer the question. And in the past 2 weeks, I've done one three-way phone call. Congratulations, hats off to Tina. Her girl is supposed to be getting in over the next few days. With the Paradise Pack. So, you know, it works. It doesn't work 100% of the time. No, it doesn't work 100% of the time. Yes, Cheryl's raising her hand. She's like, yo, you did a three-way phone call with me. You're right, I did do a three-way phone call with you. You do a great job with that. But there's a whole group of people that I'm looking at on this line, and they don't do three-way phone calls. They don't, or even a three-way webinar where you invite somebody on to, you know, come and check this out, and, you know, we're gonna get you on a webinar. They're gonna go over everything, and then you can ask them all of the questions. I think every time that I've done that, except for maybe once or twice since I've started Wakai, and I've done it a few different times, not during the summer, we'll say, people get in, you know, because they get their questions answered at the time with an expert. And that we've gone over the power of a three-way phone call, so please utilize that system. Even if you're going to bring them to an event or you want to meet for a coffee, that's the same thing. You're meeting for a coffee. You have a third-party credibility person there. So use those systems before you try to use new systems.
That's right, because like I said, the reason those systems are in place is because they work. And if they work, why not use them? Number 3, treating the business as a hobby. There are so many people who come into this business and they talk about making, you know, $10, $20, $30, $100,000 a month, but they can only work 1 to 2 hours a week. Guys, if you're going to treat the business as a hobby, you're going to make hobby money. Now, that's okay if that's what you want. There's people that'll come in and say, you know what, I just want to make a couple $100 a week. I like to ski in the winter. That's not me saying that. I'm just like pretending to be someone else, just in case anybody's wondering. You know, somebody might say, I like to ski in the winter, and I just want to make a little bit of money just so I can, you know, afford to go to the slopes once or twice a month, whatever the case may be. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't be the person that says, you want to make $100,000 a month, but you only have, you know, a couple hours a week to work. Can you make a couple of $100,000 a month working a couple hours a week? Sure. It might take you 300 or 400 years, but you'd probably get there eventually. But for those of you that want to make serious money, take the business seriously. Treat it as a business. Don't treat it as a hobby. If you say you're going to be at a meeting, show up. When you say you're going to do something, show up and do it. Don't just say it. Treat it as a business. If you had a business, if you had a cake decorating business and every day you opened the doors and sold cakes, you wouldn't get up one morning and say, you know what, I don't feel like going in today. I think I'll just go back to sleep. Because then your business wouldn't open, and if your business doesn't open, you don't make any money. Well, treat this the same way, and the more you treat it like a business, a serious business, the more money you'll make.
And, you know, I mean, you can relate it to your, you know, if you've got a job, you can relate it to your JOB, whether it's a full-time JOB or a part-time JOB. You know, you can't wake up one morning, of course we all have sick days and stuff like that, but you can't wake up one morning and say, yeah, I don't feel like going in today. I'm not going to go in. I don't feel like going in. And do that consistently and expect to keep your job, whether it's a full-time job or whether it's a part-time job. You do that a couple of times and they're going to get rid of you. So, you know, if you need to, if you set a schedule and you're not showing up to work when you set a schedule, you know, fire yourself today and rehire yourself tomorrow and then become your very best employee. Show up to work. You know, be the, as a business owner, show up the same way that you would expect an employee to show up for you.
Exactly. And you're going to notice a huge difference in the growth of your business. Bernadette, the next one can be tough on a lot of people. And I know, even being in this business as many years as I've been in, I still find myself doing this every once in a while, and I'll stop myself. But what it is do not take rejection personally. Guys, when somebody says no, they're not saying no to you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're saying no, they don't want to do the business. And that's okay. We have got to stop taking no's personally. Because if you take it personally, then you're going to be, oh, I wonder what I did. Are they mad at me? Do they not like me? Do they not want, I mean, and you go through all this crazy stuff when really it has nothing to do with you. If they say no, they're not saying no to you. They're not saying no, I never want to speak to you again, although maybe they are, but no, I'm only kidding. What they're really saying is, not now.
Right.
I'm just not interested in it right now. And realize, you know, people do not like to change. And that's something that it's tough. It's tough for us to accept. And what we do is different. It's not like something anybody else has done or used to do it or wants to do. And so because it is so different, people don't understand it. And people don't like what they don't understand. So keep that in mind and realize that you do not need to take this personally. It has nothing to do with you if somebody doesn't want to do your business. Bernadette?
That's right. And like Annie said, if they're saying no, a lot of times they're saying no, not now. No, no, not now, because I want to see how you do first. And when you start, showing that you're making checks, you're driving a free car, or you're doing those kind of things, then, you just continue to follow up with them. Don't take it personally. I can give a good example of follow-up. I watched Candy with one particular, husband and wife team who said no to her for a year. Actually a little bit over a year. And then they came into the business finally a little bit over a year because they saw, the success that she was having. They jumped in and they became one of our fastest growing reps. So don't take it personally. It just means no, not now, or no, I want to see how you do first. And if you take it personally and you start to walk away and not spending the time that you need to in your business, that person who could be a down the road type of a rep, a fortune is in the follow-up kind of a rep, then you're not going to grow in the business, and you're not going to show them the success that you're having.
Exactly. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The next one, number 5, making yourself the issue. And I think we see this a lot, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. But if you're like a super, say you're a super salesperson, say you're a car salesman and you're the top salesperson in your dealership, and everybody knows you're the top and you've won all kinds of awards, don't go around when you're talking with people and prospecting, just, it's, I don't know how to say this without sounding bad. It's not always, people don't always want to hear how good you do.
Right.
It sounds terrible, but sometimes people would rather hear that you went out and showed it to 6 people and not one person said yes, because then they know they're on the right track. How many people on this presentation, on this conference call, have done presentations and had people say no? Okay.
Everybody would be raising their hand.
Everybody's raising their hands. I can see those hands raising. Well, if I got on this call and said, guys, I don't know what you're doing wrong, I've never shown it to anybody that didn't say yes. Every single person I show it to says yes. Just go out and do this. Eventually, you start to feel like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And really, it's not you. It's the person that's talking to you, because they're making themselves the issue. Don't talk about what Wakaya, I almost just said FDI. Don't talk about what Wakaya has done for you. Talk about what it can do for the people you're talking to. It might be nice, it's done stuff for you, yeah, but face it, they all want to know, what can it do for me? Yeah, what it does for you, oh, that's great, and that's wonderful. But you know what? I'm not in it for you. I'm going to get in it for me. What can it do for me? So make sure when you're talking to your prospect, you let them know what's in it for them, what it can do for them, not what it does for you.
And
does that make sense?
Yeah, and really, like it says, like Annie was saying, if you're like a super salesperson, this is different. Don't be the person who is telling your prospect. Use the systems that are in place. Put pressure on the systems, and are the systems going to work 100% of the time? Are the videos, the audio tapes, the conference calls, the 3-ways, are they going to work 100% of the time? No, they're not going to work 100% of the time, but they're going to work enough of the time to get you to where you want to be, to help you to reach the goals. But really, if you're the one that's trying to tell people everything, they're gonna tune you out, and you're not even gonna realize why. Mainly because facts tell, stories sell. And when people get in network marketing, that's what they do. They go and say, "Oh my God, there's this company, and it's all about ginger and turmeric," and they go on and on and on and on. And I don't know if some of you watched Dave and Barb's, if you were at Dave and Barb's event in New Hampshire, if you're not in this area, obviously you weren't, but one of the greatest things that Barb taught while we were there is she said, when you're inviting people to look, say, "Hey, I know this really great guy, some of my friends, and he teamed up with billionaire David Gilmour, the guy who started Fiji Water, with this opportunity, and they're bringing they brought the opportunity to me, and they're giving me the ability to bring the opportunity to other people. Are you interested in listening? Are you interested in learning more? I can introduce you to someone who can explain it all." That was like, for me, that was the best thing in the world, because it really takes the pressure off of you, and it gives it gives them a story about a friend of yours. That's really what this means to me.
And it also David Gilmour, it gives a whole lot of credibility to the company when you can associate our company with the person who brought us Fiji Water. So just remember, don't make it about you, and then your people are more apt to go with you if they don't have to be you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 6, not being your best customer. Guys, remember, people are going to do what you do, not what you say. If you don't use any of the products, the people you sign up aren't going to use any of the products. If you use, some cream that you got at CVS on your face instead of using our Delo cream, although I don't know why anybody would do that. But anyway, that's another story. Realize that that's what your downline's going to do. If you order stuff every month, that's what your downline's going to do. Now, I'm not saying to go fill your garage or basement with a bunch of products that you're not going to use. Absolutely not. That is one thing I absolutely positively do not believe in. Now, do I think you should use every single product we have? Probably not. If you, are 6 feet tall and weigh 106 pounds, I'm probably going to tell you not to get on the weight loss program. But the products that you need, or that you're using similar products, only different brands, use our products. Become a product of the product. Be your best customer, and your reps will do the same thing.
Absolutely. And, what's the best way for you to create a story? Remember, facts tell, stories sell. The best way for you to create a story is by using the products. Now, how awesome is it that that I get to tell the story that I went to meet with a roofer the other day, and that I haven't seen in 6.5 months, and he went crazy. "Oh my God, Bernadette, look at you. You look amazing, and your skin looks amazing. You've lost a ton of weight. What are you, like 37, 38? You could easily pass for 33. I was like, heck, I'll take 33. Heck, I'll take 38. And then I got to watch his jaw drop on the ground when I told him that I'm going to be 50 next year. So the only way that you're going to be able to tell those kind of stories is if you use the products and can actually give a true testimonial.
Absolutely. Guys, every time I meet somebody, I tell them, and I don't know about you, but a lot of people on this line, you guys don't realize I'm 86. Oh, that always gets a laugh. Yeah. But exactly. Use the products and become a product of the product. And for another reason, I don't want to sell something that I don't use and I don't believe in.
Right.
If I was driving a Toyota, How hard do you think it would be if I went to work every day at the Dodge dealership? Well, I'm not going to sell too many Dodges. Why don't you drive a Dodge? Oh, I like Toyotas a lot better.
Right.
Okay, then. I mean, and we laugh, but guys, there are people out there, and that's exactly what it's like. So utilize the products, like Bernadette said, to develop your own story, and nothing's better than a testimonial, but what a great testimonial if it's your own, and you're living, breathing proof of it. So definitely become a product of the product. Bernadette, number 7.
Okay, so focusing on the little problems. Understand that challenges arise from time to time, especially with a growing company that's in pre-launch. These are challenges that are easily overcome. The company's overcome. It is going to overcome of it. Be a part of the solution. Like if you see a problem, then bring it to the right people. You know, who are the right people if there's something wrong with the website? You can go to marketing at wakayaperfection.com and send them an email. But don't get focused on that. Just send them the email and then move on and keep building your business. So many people get caught up in things like, you know, how many ounces are in the bottles, or you know, the labeling on something was wrong, or not being able to, you know, do something on the website, or you know, oh my gosh, the shipping. They're working, just know that they're working on those kind of things, and know that the company's in pre-launch, and just keep focused on your reason why. And if you keep focused on your reason why you got started in this business, you're going to be successful.
Exactly. And I mean, you can look at any big company now. They all started out small. They all started out in the beginning, and when they started out, they had problems. They had issues. They ran into roadblocks, especially in the beginning. And you know what? If you don't, I used to always say, and this was back in the Excel days, when people used to call me and say, oh, I haven't had any problems, I haven't had any issues, I have had nothing. You know what my response used to be? Then you're probably not working your business.
Right.
Because if your business is growing as fast as it should be growing, guys, things are going to happen. And I used to get up in the morning and say, okay, I want to see how many problems I can have today. And everybody used to laugh at me. But if I had 10 people call me with problems, then that meant I had 10 people that day that were actively working and doing something. So don't look at the problems as a problem. Look at it as activity. If people are coming to you and saying, this isn't right, or, you know, we need to do this, or we can't do that, that's a good thing, because that means they're thinking, they're working out on their business, they're trying to make it better by coming up with the solution. So realize that don't focus on the little tiny problems, be part of the solution, focus on why, and realize that the more problems you have, the more money you're going to make. And just look at your problems as more money, and they won't be problems anymore. They'll be dollar bills.
Yeah.
Bernadette?
All problems are stepping stones to the next level. So just know that any challenge that you have is going to bring you to the next level that you want to be at. View them as opportunities instead of as real issues.
Yep. And last but not least, and this probably is the biggest one, that's why it's last, do not let other people steal your dreams. Guys, people are going to tell you, you're nuts, you're crazy, it's illegal, it's one of those pyramid things, you're going to get arrested, you're never going to make any money. I had somebody tell me once, I know, I have a friend of mine who got into one of those deals and lost his house. Lost his house? What the heck did he live in? A Barbie house? I mean, really? I mean, it's $500 to get started. What kind of house was he living in? But if you listen to those people enough, they will steal your dreams. You know, you're not going to be, you can't do that. You really think you're going to make enough money to quit your job? That's crazy. Just go to work like the rest of us and, you know, stop thinking these crazy dreams. And the thing is, if you hang around those people long enough, they're going to rub off on you. And you're going to start to believe them. So realize that that's why it's so important to get on these calls and to go to the meetings and to go to the events and go to the trainings. Because if people are telling you you're nuts, you're crazy, it's illegal, it doesn't work, da-da-da-da, you can go to a training or a meeting and at any point in time talk to probably 90% of the people in the room that are reps, and they've gotten checks. I don't know about you, but that kind of makes it a little bit more real for me. I still, to this day, and I've been in this industry forever, I still have people in my family that will tell you it doesn't work. I have people in my family that will tell you what Ann does is illegal. You know, she's in one of those pyramid things and it's illegal. Yet, I'm the only one in my family that still after 30 years doesn't have a regular job. But, well, you know, I guess if it's illegal, you might not need a regular job. But that was a joke, so you guys need to laugh. I can't hear you. But, so just keep that in mind. There are lots of people out there that are going to try to steal your dreams. They're going to bring you down. They're going to tell you you can't do it. And you can choose to believe them and go along with them, or you can choose not to believe them. And on that, I'm just going to tell one quick story because I know you've all heard of Walt Disney. There isn't anybody there's probably nobody in this country and maybe even the world who doesn't know who Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse are. Well, when Walt Disney had his idea for Disneyland in California, he needed money from banks, and he went and started applying for loans to build Disneyland. And the banks were telling him, you're nuts, you're crazy, an amusement park based on a mouse? Are you out of your mind? Nobody is going to pay money to go see a mouse. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Go get a real job. Do you know it took Walt Disney 57 banks before he found the one that said, yes, I'll give you the money? Now, sit back and think about that. That means 56 banks told him no. I'm going to be brutally honest. If that had been me, I know there is no way I would have gone through 56 banks. 5, maybe 10 at the most, telling me no, it wouldn't work. I would have thought they're bankers, they know what they're talking about, and I would have believed them. And probably so would most people. But something about it, Walt Disney kept going and going and going until he found that bank that gave him his loan. And if you look back at that now, if he didn't continue on, can you, and I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but can you imagine this country without Walt Disney and Disney World and Disneyland and Mickey Mouse? I mean, Mickey Mouse is as American as baseball and apple pie. From the time any kid is born, they start watching Disney movies. And all because one guy would not take no for an answer. Face it, we all have that opportunity in front of us, and we can choose to not take no for an answer, or we can choose just to say, yeah, they're all right, and go along with them. The choice is yours. There is nothing Bernadette or I can say to make the difference. What you choose is what you choose, and the choice is yours to make. You can believe them and let them bring you down, or you can be the next Walt Disney and keep going and make it work. And with that,
Well,
I'm all done, Bernadette.
I just want to add one more thing before we end the webinar/call tonight. Please, please, please do not be surprised if those people who are trying to drag you down are people that are the closest to you, your friends, your family. You know what? I have one family member that's you know, really kind of in Wakaya, and prior to that have had no family members join me in business besides my mother, who she was going to come in regardless, and my brother, who Annie signed up. But the rest of my family, if I even tried to talk to them about that thing that I was doing that was allowing me to be a single stay-at-home mom, they wouldn't even have a conversation with me. I had, you know, my cousin, who I was so close to all of my life, and his wife tell me they had opted in at some point to some emails that I was sending. They sent me a really nasty email. Take me off of your effing list. I can't believe you're sending me these emails. And I was like, you're the one that opted into the You're the one that told me you wanted to learn about financial solutions and that your credit sucks. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's that whole crabs in a bucket thing. You know, you see the crabs in a bucket, and there's one crab that's, you know, trying to get out, and just when he gets his claw on the top and he's starting to pull himself out, there's a whole bucket full of crabs that are, you know, that are trying to pull him back down. It just is what it is, and the people who are closest to you, as much as they say that they want you to succeed on some level, they want you to succeed, but they don't want you to do better than they're doing. So just understand that's the psychology of things. Make a decision. Sometimes you have to make a decision every day that you're going to go out there and you're going to build your business, and that you're not going to listen to those people. And if you continuously make that decision and continuously focus on what your why is, then nothing is going to stop you. So with that, we are going to let you go for